Adrian, thanks very much for joining us. For those who don't know, maybe just give us a brief introduction of LCube, the company, but also the strategy.
Michał Stachura and myself, we established LCube about 2 years ago. We still consider ourselves as a startup, as a newcomer on this market. However, within those 2.5 years, we managed to establish a developer, a company. And currently we have 5 projects ongoing. We've got 50,000 square meters existing space. We've got also 90 for this year plant construction. And we've got about 350K of warehouses which are under planning and under design. We are a trade developer, so we are planning to build and sell our assets. Currently we are focusing mostly on core markets. However, we are not afraid of emerging markets. Actually, the first project we have started is our LCube Rzeszów Park, which is on southeast Poland. It is an emerging market, but still we were not afraid to start on this one, and actually we were successful. So yes, over there we've got one existing building and second one, which is now nearly completion and handover to client.
You're obviously tracking the trends in terms of logistics there in Poland. What are you seeing in terms of the occupier side?
As to the occupier side, I would say that one of the key points which tenants are looking is ESG strategy. I mean, especially tenants are looking at the buildings which are energy efficient, the buildings which are modern, the buildings which actually are focused on energy saving solution. That's why we have our own ESG strategy, and actually we are implementing it step by step. And that's why we can also deliver the ESG ready buildings for our clients. Also, what you can see on Polish market, what is now interesting and becoming a trend is some of the tenants at least are looking at the storage height. Now we can see the growing demand on 12-meter storage height, which is caused by the fact that actually the land prices are going up, which is also dedicated by energy effectiveness, because if tenants can store more of their products on the smaller space, that actually is also energy saving solution in terms of heating, in terms of lighting, in terms of using power. We can see that tenants are focusing a lot on indexation and the cost. In terms of indexation, the indexation is not only based on the European rates, but they want to have a cap on indexation. So that's something what has to be changed in lease agreements, and that's what actually we are also implementing to become more attractive and to become more flexible to our clients. Also, what the tenants are accepting are slightly higher rents, and it's caused by a few circumstances. First of all is, of course, inflation, which affects all of us on every stage of our private or business life. Also, bigger or global tenants, they are happy, they can accept the slightly higher rents in especially modern new warehouses. And they accept it because, first of all, they can have in their own ESG strategy buildings, which are also ESG certified. That's first thing. And second thing is that actually in modern buildings, like for example, in the one which we are building as an LCube, we've got, let's say, thicker insulation. So the higher rent is balanced by lower bills, utility bills, so lower service charge.
And you mentioned their rental increases. I suppose, how's that playing out in terms of the capital markets and also the investor side?
Investors are very keen on buildings with ESG strategy. That's why, as I mentioned before, in LCube, we have created our ESG strategy and we are implementing it step by step. Also, we are very focused to have certified buildings. So we are certifying our buildings with BREEAM Excellent. And in terms of investors, this is very important to have, let's say, future-proof buildings. Because when the building has got implemented ESG strategy, it's certified, it has got solutions which can actually keep their value or even make it growing in the future, that's one of the most important things. In our buildings, because in our name, in our slogan, we have LCube as a smart warehousing, we are using a number of technical solutions which we can use, which we can make our buildings more efficient and actually future-proof. We are using, as I mentioned before, thicker insulation, so energy saving. We are using photovoltaic panels. We've got also signed agreement with the company who is producing green energy produced from photovoltaics, is from cogeneration and from wind turbines. So actually, we can also deliver to our tenants energy which is green. That's added value for the potential investors and future owners of the buildings which we are creating.
There's obviously been huge changes in terms of the supply chain, friendshoring, nearshoring. How are those impacting your market? And I suppose, do you see that as a growing opportunity in Poland and the region?
Definitely. In terms of nearshoring, we can actually see this trend coming from COVID. Disturbed supply chains and a growing cost of transportation has actually motivated some of the companies to move their production from Far East, from China, from South America back to Europe. Of course, the cost of the production, cost of the workforce in Europe is slightly more expensive. However, it's also balanced by the cost of transport. And another thing that actually, if there is production moved to Europe, it's moved rather to more, first of all, efficient buildings, which I mentioned before, and also to the buildings which use more automation for production. So actually the cost of the workforce is not that significant in the final cost of the product. So actually from, let's say, 2 years, we can see the growing demand for production space, for light production, heavy production coming back from Asia, from America. We've been also in some negotiations. We are also offering the space for production for the companies coming from UK, coming from Germany, coming from France, which are moving their production from other countries. We can especially see it in some of the parts of Poland, because some of the parts of Poland has got, let's say, historically had a lot of production. Like, for example, in our LCube Rzeszów Park, we can see a lot of production coming in from other countries, because historically this region is automotive and aerospace industry region. It's caused by a few circumstances. First of all is that actually after World War I, the production of aerospace has been located there. Also, there are a lot of universities which are very good on education of people in engineering, in aerospace, in production. So there is availability of workforce, but not only blue collars, also on white collars. In other regions of Poland, like in west part of Poland, where we have our logistic parks in Wrocław, Poznań, and Goleniów, we can see a lot of production coming from Germany, which are also motivated by friendshoring trend, because Poland is considered as an economically stable country with relatively still, or rather big availability of still workforce. We are a very interesting market. Also, what is slightly different than in Europe, we still got a lot of available land where you can actually locate the factories, where you can locate light production, heavy production, and warehouse. So because of those few trends, I'm sure that Poland will be beneficiary with next few years of this friendshoring trend.
Really interesting to catch up. Thanks very much for joining us, Adrian.
Thank you.